Hi.
Hello. In person.
I know. I think like every time we do this in person, it just gets like better and better. Like the setup is just like way more primo. Like you really try. Congrats.
You too, baby. Learn something new every day. And then also I go in to edit it and I'm like, why did I do that?
We're trying new things.
Yeah, we love to see
We're
it.
not girls who, sit in practice in nothing new.
It's live and it's live.
It's live. Yeah. Love this for us. Ella, we're in Seattle. We're together.
Yeah, we've been hanging out too, which has been fun.
I know.
For our update, we went to Pride yesterday.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, it filled my little heart with joy to see everyone just living their best life. Seeing the Pride parent shirt really got to me just because, we know that not everyone is widely accepted by society and the people closest to them, which is really difficult, but to see like the amount of Pride parents, and we're talking white-haired boomers in Pride gear, definitely filled my heart. So 100%. I loved it.
Yeah, it was good vibes. Seattle Center. I hadn't been back in Seattle for Pride in a minute. I've been doing the New York Pride, and New York's pretty fun. I will say that. So if you haven't gotten a chance to do Pride in New York, you should do that. But Seattle Pride did not disappoint. Sunday, Seattle Center was good vibes for sure.
Yeah, and early plug of the week. One of the businesses I actually really liked. It's called Free Spirits. It's the non-alcoholic option that they had there.
Yes.
I was 10 out of 10, very much into it. Like some mocktail options kind of
bad.
Yeah, I would say pretty like, but this was great. I literally ordered some. I was like, this is the best advertising that they did. Because I was like, give a little promo code. So yeah, Free Spirits, 10 out of 10, recommend.
Oh my God, mate, let's try to get sponsors. Can you imagine? We do alcohol-free.
We
a new brand.
I'll reach out. You'll hear from our people.
Yes. Okay, before we go into further updates, I just want to say, whoever outed me, we say send this to a friend. I did not mean send it to the person who the podcast is about, okay?
Well, don't out yourself like that, because I actually thought about this story when you sent. So we've been outed.
We've been outed, okay? I wrote a little hot takes of some red flags that I've had encounters with. And some of the people in my past, I usually don't talk to like a lot of people I had things with, but one of them I'm like cool with, and I got a nasty little text. No, actually, it was a funny one, but I was like, "Who told you about this? How did you find the podcast?" Like I was shooketh. I was like, "Who snitched?"
You know what it reminded me of? So one of your exes kind of came for me at one point and was like, "I know you talk shit about me on the podcast," and I literally was like, what are you talking about? Because a little fun fact, me and Berenice say ex, and we have more than one ex. So I think someone interpreted something we said that was not about them, And I was like, ooh, like what's worse? Me telling you I didn't talk shit because it wasn't about you, or me being like, I don't even think you're relevant anymore. It wasn't about you.
Here's the thing. Sometimes it isn't about them, but like if the shoe fits, it is what it is. Like one time when we first started the podcast, I had my at the time boyfriend's mom. I guess she found the podcast, listened to the podcast. She was not our target consumer. Okay, she was not our target audience. I don't know what she was doing.
Thanks for the support though.
Thank you, but no, thank you. And then she was like, I just want you to know that I wash his clothes with all the love in the world, because I guess we threw shade at people whose mom still does their laundry. I was not inherently coming for my boyfriend at the time. I knew he lived at home. Did I think maybe he took care of his own laundry? I hope so. But she not only outed him, she was also mad about it. So I was like, this actually wasn't about him, but if the shoe fits, I guess.
But we have such a fun episode today, and this is a very much if the shoe fits, but some of the stuff's about. But I'm not gonna say who. It's a fun little guessing game if you know me of who this is. Yeah.
Wait, we're doing Please, 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 right?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Miss Sabrina Carpenter came out with her iconic song. We're a few weeks late, but better late than never.
It's still relevant.
It's still relevant.
I loved, oh my gosh, you guys. I overpaid for Sabrina Carpenter tickets, which I never do usually because it's not going to the artist, it's like supporting a scalper. So I'm not about that usually. But I was like, you know what? I think I should overpay for these tickets now because I'm going to have to overpay for them next time when they're more expensive. I like quadruple paid for face value, but face value was like $35. And so I
Yeah.
paid like $100 for a ticket. And I'm so happy I went. I got really close. It was fucking amazing. I love her to death. But do we have any updates before we get into the episode?
Updates? I mean, I've just been here. I actually, the first time I saw Ella for a while, I was like, I'm gonna be here in a motorcycle. Like, you have my location.
I show up to the place and like we meet up with a couple of our other friends and they're like, "Where's Berenice?" I was like, "She just texted me that she'll be on a motorcycle."
I'll be there. Yeah, that's my fun update. I got to ride a motorcycle for the first time. It was in my hot girl summer. I was like, hot girl, single girl
very
summer.
Charlie XCX brat summer vibe.
I was scared to death. I'm not gonna lie. Like half of the trip, I was like, please let me live the tale universe. Please let me talk about this on the podcast. Don't let me die on this one motorcycle ride. Yeah. So it was cool. I would do it again. I would do it again.
Would you ever drive?
I don't have a driver's license.
Well, you
so
can
I
just
see, like,
jump to motorcycle.
you know, I feel like my family would really not be a fan of that choice. But that's something we could definitely, you know, in the future. I feel like if I lived in another city that was in New York, I would do that. But in New York, there's just like a lot of stops and a lot of vehicles that drive kind of cray. So I don't know if I'd like that. It was really fun. We were going like 90 on the freeway. That was like my favorite time. So I think if there was like another city with like not that many people and like, you know, range, I think that would be fun, but not in New York.
I'm happy you're here to live the tell the tale.
Me
Dude, I went on a motorcycle in Thailand after I literally was like, "You're going too fast." And my boyfriend's like, "I'm going like 40 miles an hour." And I'm like, "You need to slow down." I was not about it, but it was kind of crazy just because it was like twisting off of a cliff. I was like, let's just be safe.
Yeah, let's not. Let's get in a taxi. Yeah, I get that. But yeah, no other fun updates as of yet. Maybe next week. I'm going to Odessa. I'll let you know how that goes. We're going to Odessa. Oh my god.
Yay,
yeah, we'll let you know how that goes. Okay, bud, let's roll into the episode.
Okay, so let's do it. This episode, please don't embarrass me, mother trucker, so we don't get flagged, whatever.
Mother trucker.
But I really like this song in general, but I have like a list of times that men have embarrassed me, and I also did a couple where my friends embarrassed me a little bit.
You know, I'm with it on that. I think like this song really resonated because recently I've been reached out by a few gals and they're like, I think you're really badass. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. And now I'm like, damn, I can't be representing myself. I can't be letting myself down by like letting people embarrass me like that.
Yeah.
And I'll say something about that. Like, we say it's not your job, like, not to get lied to, not to get cheated on, period. Like, at the end of the day, you know, you can't help how other people act. If they don't know how to act, it is what it is. But I think the stakes are just like higher nowadays.
Yeah, I also think that it's like heart breaks one thing, my ego's another. I think it's just more that part where it's like, honestly, I can deal with a breakup, but if being embarrassed, now that's harder to deal with. That's that's a harder pill to swallow.
Yeah, agreed. There is a lot of embarrassing situations that happen. There's like a few, right? I think right off the bat, when you're like in it with somebody and you're still in a relationship, when they forget how to act, you're in a relationship. Overall, it comes down to like respect. I've had this conversation with people like I'm dating about like social media usage, just because like I'm like, here's what I see as respectful, right? And here are some actions that would maybe disrespectful, maybe make me look a little silly, right? So don't do anything that might make me look a little stupid to other people because you want to represent me correctly, right?
Well, because especially now, well, always. Okay, so I know someone who likes all of Doja Cat's pictures, all right?
Yeah.
And you can see it because you can see who likes the pictures. You know, you can see who likes everybody's ass photos. And it's like, I just hope that when it says an influencer's thirst trap ass photo that my man's not the first one liking it. That's embarrassing.
That's embarrassing. And here's the thing, as somebody that I know that I have some people's mans on my, like, story likes,
Uh-huh. That's the
the
so shady.
worst. I'm always like, "Why did you have to like it?"
Sending me fire
Sending
emojis,
me
knowing we
fire
used to date.
emojis.
That's not a friendly emoji.
That's not a friendly emoji. I don't want your emoji. Give your emoji to your girlfriend. Give that energy, double it, and take it to her, okay? And the thing is, I'm a mandatory reporter. I will say it once, I will say it again. If you're acting crazy and you're not representing your girlfriend correctly on social media with my content, I'm snitching, one. And two, I'm scolding you for it, okay? Yeah.
Literally. You're gonna hear from me. I was thinking about, like, when you're dating someone and, like, they just do something that you're just, like, highly embarrassed, and the time I was thinking of was the whole, like, marijuana weed smoking incident with the dude I dated where he just was pretending to be way
Oh.
harder than he was, and then it just ended up with him being too high and not being able to handle his shit. I just was like, why
Yeah.
did you pretend to be, like, in it like this? There's no need.
Yeah, so my ex-boyfriend used to take dabs, and, like, that's just, like, highest, like, concentrate that you can do of weed
Yes.
at once. Now, personally, that's not a venture I'd like to go in, or any venture from 0 to 100 to impress anybody or to keep up with appearances. Now, I
No.
don't know if this man, because he was, like, a PhD student, right, or, like, I don't know, whatever.
Masters.
He was
Let's
getting don't give him that much credit, right. Um, yeah, I guess he was, like, trying to fit in. Why? I don't know. What a weird concept to try to fit in with a stoner, you know?
Also, he's a
Uh,
grown ass man, but
yeah.
whatever.
Masculinity, I don't know.
Whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, so I don't know, he, like, takes a gobbler for no reason. Unwell.
Not doing
Not
good.
doing good. You don't yeah. There is no bigger way to embarrass yourself than to try to keep up with people. Don't do it.
It never ends well, dude.
Mm-mm, no, no, and that's in any, setting, like, if somebody asks you I've been embarrassed before. I embarrass myself. Please, please, please don't embarrass me. Sometimes I have to tell that to myself. When I, like, try to act like I know something that I don't, it always ends bad because people, if you pretend that you know something and they're passionate about that, they usually follow up with more things. And now
Yes.
you have to pretend that you know more things that you don't. So, maybe you just wanna come clean at the beginning so you don't look hella dumb when later they reference it and you're like, "What?"
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. It's okay to not know things. It's better to not know things and then be brought on than to pretend, live in the dark, and then look silly. You lose credibility. This one came to me recently because I was scrolling and I like limited Instagram followers. I don't think I need to keep up with that many people, right? So I'm like, give me a reason to unfollow you. I'll unfollow you real quick. And I was going through stories and I saw just like some really stupid take on like the pride flag next to the American flag. And I don't really know this person. They were like a friend of a friend. So I was like, "Are you like bashing pride right now?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Weird flex."
Weird.
Goodbye. But I know people that like hang out with this person that like, I don't know, pretend to be allies at this point because if you choose like a neutral side of an issue, you're choosing the side of oppression, correct? Um, some people don't get that, okay? If your bestie is gay and your other homie is out here, like, being a bigot on social media, you're incongruent. That
Yeah.
doesn't but the math's not mathing, babes. The math's not mathing.
Okay, so my list was like when you're starting to date a guy and something comes up amongst your friends and you're like, "Oh my god, I did not know that you had that view." So, I don't know how it came up, but like guns came up and like I felt like this person was like anyways, they had some just kind of like wild takes on gun ownership and basically like admitted that they bring guns everywhere and I literally was like
Gotta go.
I was like, "Do you have like a gun right now?" Because honestly, I don't want to get too hot of a take, but like, I think if you get blacked out drunk, like if you get belligerent, I do not think that you should have a gun with you. Like that's just pretty much
No.
like pure blank point blank period. And so then we went down this rabbit hole in front of my friends, and it was actually on my birthday. whatever. And I was so embarrassed, and I was like, "Oh my god, I need to vet people more because I can't have these, like, wild takes come out with guys I'm, like, dating."
Yeah. Not to get into guns, but, like, I do know 2 people that I've grown up with, that I've gone, like, to school with, and, like, a friend and, like, a dear friend who have both, like, died from, like, gun accidents,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
accidentally guns firing. So, maybe not something worth having around. Yeah.
I mean, I'm anti-gun, but I honestly feel like I guess there's another thing where it's just like I feel like I am so on guard because like I also just feel like sometimes people hide their POVs, but then
Mhm.
it comes out around like who they think are neutral people, but it's like, no, why would this person be neutral on that if I'm very anti something?
Yeah, and I think this goes with everything, right? Like, if you are dating somebody and their friend group is, like, all iffy men who are, kind of cheating on their girlfriends, and they're like, "Oh, but my boyfriend isn't like that, just his friends are." There is a version of your boyfriend that's okay with that behavior, correct? What do you So, I don't know, for me,
I like this lawyer Berenice say she has your man's on a stand.
I was like, "Okay, can you help me understand, why you thought, he wasn't gonna cheat if they all cheat? I'm confused."
Yeah.
Men group chats are something I never wanna be part of. I know what goes on in there, and it's the depths of hell. I would say another one of please, please, please don't embarrass me. Like cheating scandals and all of that, obviously those are embarrassing. But you know what's more embarrassing? When you air out all their dirty laundry, you took hella shit, you talk about how, like they were abusive, blah, blah, blah. You kind of, in a way, start campaigning against your ex, and then you get back together.
Hey, man. That one's
Oh,
hard.
yeah, that one's tough because now I'm like, well, if it was that bad, why are you back with this person? Right? And then now
Yeah.
you're all lovey-dovey again. I'm like, she don't want to be saved. It's her canon event. We can't interfere.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like I've definitely I feel like I've done this like in the past where I'm like, oh man, I was really in the heat of the moment and I feel like I shouldn't have said that because I felt like it was like nothing crazy, let's be real, nothing crazy. But I'm like, I think I was coming from a bad place. You know what I'm saying? Like an unfair place.
I agree. I think my rule of thumb is if I can't tell what a person is doing to me, like to one of my parents, then that person's probably not for me, right? Because I
Yeah,
think
I
like
agree.
there's a lot of relationship issues that you can navigate. And if you can actually talk to a parent that has been through relationships, they might give you some like insight on like why those things are coming up. Like my dad, I talked to my dad about all of the things that happen with me with boy issues now, just because he's like a man and is grown and he's
Yeah.
like had relationship. But if I feel like there was something so entirely disrespectful that I can't like tell my dad they did, or my dad would I know would react a certain way, then I should probably not be with that person.
I know. It's like more like like honestly, like you shouldn't be keeping secrets from your friends. I also think that.
Mhm. If you're keeping information about how you're getting treated by your significant other from your friends because of the way that they will see them, that is a bad sign.
I agree.
And, maybe you should actually tell your friend. I think that's, like, a big sign when sometimes people are about to break up, is they start telling their friends the stuff that's going on. You know what I mean? And I'm
Or
like,
they
"Oh."
don't.
Or they completely stop, or they'll say it, you'll call it out, and then somebody's being silenced.
Yeah.
I've been there with a few people when I'm like, "Blink twice if you're okay."
I mean, it's so hard because it's like people are so deep into it. I was saying like, I mean, one of the things I'm like, oh, please don't embarrass me. Back to like cheating and like how you can't control other people cheating on you. I would say like the most embarrassed I ever was in my life is no, it's not that deep. So basically, my dumbass motherfucking ex lost his phone, and so he went on my iPad
Oh,
to
yeah.
try to gather his fucking belongings,
Things.
see who had his phone maybe. Was the phone
Yes.
completely lost? Let's message all of my friends that I was with last night.
Mhm.
Well, motherfucker stayed signed in to my on my iPad. And so I'm seeing ding 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 ding. So I had to like I literally went in there to sign out because I didn't want to get their notifications. I saw some names in there that I know good and well should not have been in there, right? And so of course I read everything because at this point they've been lying. Oh my god. So the two that really like just I felt embarrassed by was one girl that they're like, "Oh, always worry about the girl that they don't tell you to worry about." No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no. This dude went like on the more extreme version of that where he told me to worry about her. He was like, "She's in my DM. She's trying to like break up our relationship. Like you should be worried about her."
Oh,
Lo and
no.
behold, it's him hitting her up and like her being like, "You have a girlfriend now," and him being like, "What if she doesn't know it won't hurt her?" And I found these messages from like week 1 of our relationship, and we had been together for 5 years at a time. And I literally sat there and I was like, "Wow. Okay, well, I'm very embarrassed because I've had very mean thoughts about this person because I had like a bad perception. I'm very thankful that I never acted on those bad vibes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we were in the same room and I was not being nice to her. I wasn't being outwardly rude, but I just was like, "Oh, I don't fuck
You
with
were
her."
being fake,
Yeah, I
based
just
on
was
the
like
information that you were
I
given
was
at the
just
time.
yeah, I was like, "I don't fuck with her, so I'm not
Yeah.
gonna, like, chit-chat kiki with her like we're cool
Yeah.
because we're not." I'm very thankful I never tried to beat this bitch up. I'm very thankful I never spread rumors about her. I'm thankful for that, but I was so embarrassed that I would even just harbor harsh feelings for another woman because of some fucking dude.
Uh,
It was hard.
Here's the thing, right? Unless your boyfriend's like an athlete, an artist, some sort of position where maybe a woman would shoot her shot, there's a very low chance that a girl wants your man that badly. Unless they're being entertained. Again.
As I think that's a good rule of thumb. If your boyfriend has 400 followers, they're
Yeah,
probably
when he's like a mid six, there's something going on there. There's something going on. You gotta be real. I will say there are exceptions where like girls obviously maybe like your man and are in the outskirts, maybe waiting for their turn. I mean, I've had situations like that. I've been in situations like that, but I'm never fake about it. But I was like, oh, kind of have a crush on your boyfriend. I'm like, let me not talk because I feel like that would be considered fake, bro. Like,
I don't think I've ever I feel like I've had a crush on people's girlfriends in a way where I'm like, "I wanna
oh
find you a
yeah.
better man."
Oh,
And
100%.
so I don't
That's like
fuck with the boyfriend just because
he
I'm like,
doesn't deserve you. No, yeah.
I'm secretly plotting against
Against
him.
him. Currently.
Yeah.
I got a few.
I'm just like, no, 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 no. We need to find you a better man because you are a gorgeous, gorgeous angel of a human being, and
He's like a swamp creature that's treating you crazy.
well, that's one of mine where I literally sometimes I get embarrassed by my friends only when I'm like, okay, if like I understand not dating someone who has fully reached their potential. I get that.
Mm.
But they better treat you well.
Yeah.
This man doesn't have a job and treats you like shit. What are we doing? Like like you're embarrassing
a
us.
trauma bond that I cannot understand, but Chrissy, wake up.
I'm like, girl, no. I'm like, why? What? Ah, and then they have no words, and I'm like,
The emotional
hmm.
attachment is a trauma, babes. I get it. We've all been there. Low key. Low key. I think that your friends can be embarrassing. Not usually. I'm usually I'll stand with women's wrongs and rights, like, all of the time, really. I will say one time where I felt like, ugh, why isn't this person acting right? Instances where, like, I get invited by friends to, like, go eat somewhere for free, like, a nice place to eat somewhere for free or, like, comp things or, like, social media stuff. And, like, I had one specific friend who just, like, kept ordering rounds of shots because they were free, and I'm like, "Stop." Like,
Yeah,
this is not the vibe, this is not how I wanna represent me or our table, and I don't wanna this is just not the place to get turned like that, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, we can go out after, I just don't wanna do that here, I'm trying to, like, build a friendship, a
yeah.
relationship with these people, and this is not the vibe. I think that's been the only time where I'm not even embarrassed, just like, "Yo, act right, like, read the vibe."
I used to dislike some of my friends because I just was like, bro, they do not
Oh,
act
yeah.
right. I'm like, I don't vibe with that person because of how they handled like maybe it's because I've worked in customer service, but I literally don't understand some people's like POVs when they're trying to handle something wrong. Like usually people are pretty fucking chill, so it's like, hey, someone messed up, they're a human being. Let's talk to them like in a normal fucking way. I don't know why you're talking
Mhm.
super out of pocket, Karen level bullshit. Like, no, that's not cool with me.
Yeah. I also believe that, like, I'm like, women support women, you know what I mean? And sometimes when I see people that, like, get on their friends' people, like, like, why are you acting like that? Like, if you're hitting on your friend's ex, why?
Oh
That's so
man.
embarrassing, dude. Like,
Mhm.
that is her story. Those are her feelings. Let her see that out, dude. Like, why are you being embarrassing like that? Like, have you been thirsting over this man all their relationship? Because now that looks really bad for you. And that's really not cool.
I actually had this on my like, don't embarrass me like by like hitting on my friends or like going after my friends
Oh, that
because
too.
the one that still to this day gets me, and I had to like check my text, and I got re-mad today because I rechecked my text because I want to make sure I'm coming with true facts, some
Yeah.
receipts. I want to make sure I have the facts correctly. So basically, what happened was a guy basically hit up my best friend to go to a festival, and like it had been the summertime, so like she didn't know the like DLL of like every single thing that had happened, and so she was like, "Oh yeah, like I can drive you to this festival. That's fine." And then she kind of came to me like, "Yo, I think he's trying to slide. I'm not chill with that, but
Mm.
I don't have solid evidence for sure." And I was like, "Why the fuck did he even ask you?" And she was like, "I don't know. He said you guys were cool. Are you guys not cool?" And I was like, "Well, when he texted you that we were cool?" And she was like, "This morning." And I was like, "Okay, yeah. So yesterday morning at 8 a.m., he told me I was a crazy bitch after we had hooked up. So no, we're not cool." And she was like, "Wait, like, as in yesterday?" And I was like, "There's only one yesterday, girl.
Hours ago.
Like, I'm telling you, less than 24 hours
Like,
ago."
I can still smell this man
Yeah,
on my
like,
skin if I really tried.
and basically, me and him had talked about going to this festival together. And he was like, "Oh, I thought you were cool with me coming." And I was like, "Yeah, when we were together." And then he texted me, like, "Damn, okay, I guess we won't go. Like, I don't know why you're acting like this." I was like, "You called me a crazy bitch yesterday." And then he like continued to try to like hook up with my friend, and it was just like so embarrassing because she kept on trying to swerve him, and I was like, "There's
Yeah.
like, are you serious? Like, can you go outside of my immediate friend group?" And like, I'm not even the type of girl that in college was like, "You can't have like all of my sisters are off limits." Like, no, I'm not even gonna set that boundary. There's like 100 of us. I'm not gonna say that, but like my immediate circle, yeah, these
Yeah.
10 girls who I am close to, no, like this is a life lesson. Befriend a whole friend group before you narrow in on somebody, okay? You've narrowed in. We've hooked up. We've been dating for 3 months. You broke up with me because I'm a crazy bitch. I get it. But now the whole fucking friend group's off limits.
Yeah, and then why are people acting like there's, like, a scarce resource of human beings? You know what I mean? Like, "Oh, you had to become besties with all my besties after we broke up. You had to hit on women I know that I've been friends with forever. Why?"
There's that's what my part that
Yeah.
makes me crazy making.
Yeah, that is embarrassing for you. And if people entertain it back, that's also embarrassing for them. I've had that situation where I had an ex-boyfriend and he was friends with all my friends. So I don't know. In any circumstance that's iffy. Like if you were to explain to aliens like, "Oh yeah, he was my ex, but now he's actually best friends with all of my ex-girlfriends and I'm no longer friends with them because like that maybe made me feel weird and they never checked in with me." I feel like the alien would have sympathy for me, but for some reason all these people could not understand that, right? And I was just like trying to explain it backwards. And I was like, okay, so if you and your current boyfriend break up, I can be their best friend, right? Just checking. Just checking. So if you guys break up,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be right there. I would never do that. That's crazy.
Well, and here's the whole thing is that I got it too.
Yeah.
I fully got it. I was probably got it more than you had it. I was probably more upset because I was like, do we live in cuckoo delusional crazy land?
I don't know. It was short lived, of course, because that's not sustainable. That's weird. Weird behavior. Embarrassing, weird things. Was that saying? Any relationship, friendship, anything foundational, built on other women's tears will never last. Period.
Well, it's just like, that is really embarrassing when I don't know, like, you know, like when someone's new girlfriend acts like you're crazy when you're just like, no, 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 have them. I literally don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
That narrative that you're being fed, you
Yeah.
may have wrong information.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like, "No, no, 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 have them." And then or I've even tried to warn people and I'm like, "Hey, you know, it's none of my business, but I just wanna say, like, this happened to me." And they don't wanna listen to it at the time, but then they break up and they come to you, now they wanna be fucking friends because you guys were done wrong the same way, and I was like, "You know, I love that you're having this moment, you're having this realization, but I distinctly remember."
You telling me to fuck off
Yeah,
and
you
try to
telling me to
make
fuck
fun of me
off.
on the internet. So, I forgive you, but we don't have to be best friends.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me I was being dramatic in a
Yeah.
bathroom,
Yeah.
but whatever.
Yeah. I think I clearly remember you hyping up your man when he was trying to make fun of me on the internet by putting a video of me. That was weird, but, like, it's cool, girl. I get it. Well, the thing is, like, most people are cool. Like, if someone's dating, like, they dated somebody and then they call them crazy, like, A, probably they're not nuts, like, that's just an emotional response, and 2, they had to had been attracted to them for a reason, you know? They had to have been cool at some point.
Well, yeah, and that's why it's like a red flag for someone to be like, "Oh, yeah, like my ex is all like, you know, lays out the list." And it's like, "Wait, but like you were with that person for 4 years. So like
Why?
yeah, like why?"
Mhm. No, I agree. I agree. There's usually more to every story, to be honest with you. Other please, please, please don't embarrass me. Back to behavior. I think it's overall like not knowing how to act. Like right now, Justin Timberlake is just like really acting like himself. It's like public now.
Yeah.
And his wife is probably not impressed. I had that with exes where I'm like, bro, why are you getting like blacked out drunk and trying to fight people? Like that's so embarrassing to me. That's so and I knew it was bad when I at one point I was like trying to go to bed because like I just wasn't on my crazy journey anymore. We've graduated from college, you know, this behavior is just like not acceptable at this point. I just hear my ex-boyfriend just like in a rage downstairs. I don't want to get up and go deal with this right now. So I gotta go downstairs with my little grandma glasses. And I'm like, come here. Like, can you stop? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No. How disappointing. And I was just like, damn, I feel like a mom right now.
Yeah.
Um, that's embarrassing. You know, that was a sign. That was a sign.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like I feel like at any point when you're like gentle parenting an ex, you're like, this is so embarrassing. Like I shouldn't have to like
Do this
do
right now,
this.
yeah. He was grown, so he would have
Yeah.
probably figured it out. I'm sure he's over it now, but, you know, at the time, he just wasn't there yet. We wish him well. Any girl fights overall, I think are embarrassing. I'm sorry. If you're physically hitting your friends and they're women, why? Why are you doing
I
that?
just don't think people should be putting their hands on each other in
No,
general.
period.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, men do this all the time, and like that's their deal. But like, as women, and sometimes like when women are fighting each other over a man, I'm like, sis, get up.
Yeah.
That's probably your best friend right there. And you don't even know. You know what I mean? So don't embarrass yourself. Don't embarrass your sisters. Do not fight over pretty much anything. I feel like find common ground on something. You can usually find common ground with somebody on something. And if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all, you know?
Yeah, the one thing I was also saying is that like in general, I feel like if you're fighting in public, like even if you're like did I tell you the other so a couple was having a blowout breakup argument in a long ass line at the Mariners game. And we're talking like screaming
No.
match. And I just was like, you know, this is like not the time or the place for this. And I was just kind of embarrassed for them. But I've had situations where I'm having like my friends scream at their boyfriend. And I'm like, we're just like either go home or like maybe not at the bar. Like, I don't think we should be screaming right now.
It's interesting because I've actually seen that, but like I've never seen it play out in such a phenomenon as I did at Sueños Music Festival, which is like all Latinos. I have never seen so many girls yelling at their boyfriends, like back to back to back. And I was like, wow.
I honestly, I haven't yelled at a man in a really long time, and I'm thankful for that.
Well, I've yelled at a man recently, but now
Oh,
I
there you
kinda
go.
get it. You know what I mean? I don't know if this is a Latino thing. I've actually only gotten into bickering, like, fights with 2 other Latino men. So maybe it's a Latino thing, like, I don't know.
Hey, man, all love, but I just there's something about fighting in public that I just am like, I just don't think this is appropriate. I feel like we really should
Oh,
just
yeah.
this is ruining the vibe.
This is ruining the vibe, yeah. I've only done that in public one time, and it wasn't even fighting, we were, like, ear to ear, and I was like, "We're just not get it," at the club. And I was like, "Maybe this situation is toxic and I need to let him
Yeah.
go." Yeah. I would say as a general rule of thumb, I told this to somebody and I think he was, like, surprised, but I was like, I when you act, right, because it's a lot about, like, please don't embarrassing, it's just, like, knowing how to act in specific circumstances and communicating before actions. I've learned to be less impulsive as I've gotten older. I've been there where sometimes, I do things that are not the best representation of myself, but as I'm trying to age like fine wine, a general rule of thumb that I live by is I really don't like to lie, right? I think keeping up with lies is a lot of work. So, in
Yeah.
generally, I just prefer not to do it. If I the way that I act is not something that I wanna own up to later, I just don't do it.
I love that. I feel like I don't lie, but the thing is if I do lie, I factory reset that night, and then the next day I don't remember. You know what I'm saying? So that's why
What does that mean?
like, if I tell a story and it's a lie, you know what I'm saying, just for the funsies, I factory reset, I totally forget about it, and then I'll see that person another time, and they're, like, telling me about this wild story about, "Oh, I'm in the Air Force, my name's Jada," and I'm like, "Oh my god, I totally forgot about that." And I look crazy. But sometimes I like to play pretend.
You like to play pretend. I don't play pretend anymore. I mean, I don't feel like if you meet somebody, I don't feel like you owe them to be like, "Here's my life story." You know what I mean? Like, be safe out there. If you wanna give your name out, that's okay. No, I mean in general, like, if I think later, I don't wanna own up to, like, hooking up with this person randomly, then maybe I just don't do it.
Yeah, just don't
Just don't do
yeah,
it.
just
You know
it's,
what I
like,
mean? Like,
preemptive. It's
yeah,
like
you don't wanna say you cheated on your girlfriend, then don't cheat on your girlfriend.
no, I agree, and that's actually why a lot of people when I catch them in or I'll say this, like when people are cheaters and then they're like, "Oh, well, we had an open relationship," and I'm like, "Well, then why did you lie to them?" You know?
Yeah,
And it's like all the time people will be like, "Oh, no, 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 like they knew or I wasn't doing anything wrong." And it's like, "Okay, well, if you weren't doing anything wrong, then why'd you feel like you had to lie about it?"
yeah, and, honestly, I think, like, a lot of people lie to, like, avoid conflict or there's just something to with other people or themselves, okay? A lot of people are not ready to own up parts of themselves and have a lot of shame regarding different situations, but there's also nothing more embarrassing than A, being caught in a lie, and 2, doubling down on a lie. Tripling down on a lie is 3 times more embarrassing and so forth. Okay? I had a man, like, triple down on a lie that I knew was a lie from the beginning, so I was like, "Why are you doing that?" Like, that's, like, weird behavior to triple down on a lie. When I finally had the facts to, like, expose it so I could get some clarity on, like, what is the reasoning behind this ridiculous lie, it was just like, "Dude, now, honestly, I'm embarrassed for you because I gave you, like, 4 outs."
Yeah, it's like okay, you lied once to avoid conflict, but then you lied again and then you lied again.
Yeah.
That I can't excuse. It
Yeah.
is
It
embarrassing.
is a little bit
I
embarrassing.
I'm also embarrassed for people that lie about things they don't need to lie about.
Yeah. I know, and that's honestly, I don't even know if that's embarrassing, that's just sad. You know? Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a friend recently tell me a little bit of a lie, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be my one warning, okay? You get one away. I'm gonna set a boundary. You do not have to lie to me. I will deal with the truth. I'm a pretty understanding person. I don't know what version of yourself you're trying to live up to that you think I've concocted in my head, but you're a human being, and you're allowed to have thoughts and opinions that are not congruent exactly with mine, you know?
Yeah.
You don't have to lie." I don't know, I feel like that's such a weird, feeling to feel like you have to lie to somebody you love to hold maybe, like, a certain perception. Like, I've had men say this to me before that I was like, "Well, why did you lie?" "I just didn't want you to think differently of me." And I was like, "Of the person that you're, like, pretending you are?"
Yeah.
Right?
Hmm. Damn. No, I understand that too, where it's like, "Oh, well, I just didn't want you to think poorly of me." And it's
Yeah.
like, "Okay, I mean, you don't have to tell me all your deep, dark secrets, but this isn't we also just don't have to lie. There's, like, an in-between."
Yeah. I don't know. Food for thought. But please, please, please don't embarrass me. Be congruent with your actions and words.
Yes, please, please, please. I mean, I think that's when I'm most embarrassed is when I hype up someone to my friends and then they just don't live to the hype.
You know, I will say, like, when you fool a girl, you're fooling all her people, okay?
Yeah.
I've had that a few times when they're like, "We're as surprised as you. We are as surprised as you that he turned out to be shitty because we had no idea."
That one, boy.
No, I had a man, like, fully, like, try to break things off with me. I was like, "Okay, whatever," and then go to one of my friends and be like, "I, like, love her. I feel so deeply for this person. I'm just, like, not ready for a relationship," and then, like, literally, like, 2 days later, find out that, like, he was seeing another girl. And I was like, "He lied to you too."
And that's like and I'm like I get personally offended when my
Right?
friends get done dirty because I'm literally like, they're dead to me. I never want to see their face again. They better not ever, you better not get back with him because I don't like him anymore. And it's because he did you so dirty and now I cannot accept it.
I mean, that's a personal choice, okay? At the at the end of the day, I think, with relationships, I learned to stay out of most people's relationships unless there's, like, some abusive stuff going on, then I'll say something. I really don't like to because I know it doesn't end well for me, but, I just you're
Yeah.
my friend, I'm gonna have to speak up. Um, yeah, so I will say, like, if you do choose to take somebody else back at the end of the day, that's, like, on you. I'm not necessarily judging you, I'm just confused, but it is your life, it is your choices, and it is whatever is gonna make you happy. I think a little bit sometimes when, like, I found out somebody was, like, seeing somebody else and I was thinking about, like, "Oh, I really like this person, do I give them another chance?" A lot of people were like, "Don't do it," and then I had, like, one friend that was like, "At the end of the day, it is your life, it is your choice, and, like, it is okay if you do wanna give them another chance," like, I know a lot of people are, like, telling you not to, but that is okay if you wanna do that. And I was just, like, actually pretty grateful for that perspective because I was like, yeah, sometimes you feel like a lot of pressure to act a specific way, but, like, if you wanna see something through, that is just something that you have to do for yourself.
It's an individual life journey.
Yes, period. And maybe that is the right choice. I haven't seen it play out that well, but, like, you never know. The 1%.
Hey, well, you know what? Honestly, this is sometimes I have to remind people this is for entertainment purposes,
Yeah.
And honestly, do what you want. It's your life,
It
boo
is your
boo.
life.
But honestly, don't embarrass me.
Don't embarrass us.
Don't embarrass us. Be happy at least.
Mhm. Do the best that you can to be happy. It is embarrassing when, like, people told you something wasn't gonna work, and then you, like, tried again, and then it didn't work, and then you're like, "Whoops."
Honestly, I'm gonna be real. Sometimes I try not to push my friends too hard because I
Yeah.
feel like, especially, I have a few friends who I feel like I don't know, people are like want to like be like feel vindicated in their mistake by trying to work it out. So I feel like sometimes if you
Yeah.
push your friends too hard, like, don't do this, I swear, don't do it, don't do it. He's gonna hurt you again. And so I was like, okay, just I hope it works out. They will like not vindictively, but they just wanna, like, prove you wrong that, like, they were right about this person, so they end up doubling down on their
Yeah.
relationship so that they can, like, prove that, "Oh, no, 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 it did work out," and then they get hurt more, so I just try to be like, "You know what? I mean, we've been here before, but, you know."
That's how some people do, like, rebound relationships that I've seen that it's like, oh, it didn't work out with one person, and then you rebound it onto the next, and then you try to make that work, like, extra hard because it's like, "Oh, I just left another person," so they're gonna think, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's
Yeah.
a, narrative that goes with the rebounding that people try to make some relationships work extra hard because they're like, "Well, maybe I left that person for nothing." So it's like expectations of your
Yeah.
friends into yourself. Don't say in bad situations because you want to prove something.
Well, that's the thing. Also, with like, have you like seen the phenomenons in Hollywood where like if someone gets cheated on and that relationship works, like we don't say anything, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's like if a relationship starts with infidelity, it is only bad if those people don't stay together. And so, which I actually hate.
Yeah.
That's one of my like pop culture pet peeves is where like, well, they worked out, so you know, no harm, no foul. It's like, no, people were harmed.
People were harmed. And
Yeah.
and in a lot of situations that start like that, there's a lot of insecurity in those relationships. Like I've never seen a relationship where like somebody it started with cheating and those people feel secure because it's like that's how it started and you know what that person is capable of. So I'm just saying, I've seen a lot of stress coming from those. So, you know. At the end of the day, it's just like, you know, just be kind to each other. Be kind to one another. Represent yourself to the best of your abilities. If you make a mistake, own up to it.
You know, I always like to circle back to the golden rule: do unto others as you wish for them to do unto you.
Yeah.
And that's why I try to like don't embarrass the person that I'm with by doing shady shit because I would never want to be embarrassed like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very, very true. And sometimes that's the most respect that you can show somebody, truly, is just to watch how other people perceive them if you know that that's important to them. I think that is one of the kindest things that you can do. I don't have any other
Word.
thoughts.
That's it, baby.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Well, this has been live from inside the studio, episode 197.
Oh my God.
So thank you for, if you're a new listener, welcome. We'd love to have you. Tell a friend. If you're a
snitch.
Yes.
Also tell your friends.
If you're coming back and this is your 197th time, we appreciate you. Please go like, subscribe, and rate us. That helps us out a whole lot. And follow us on social media at thanks number 4 your concern.
I'm at Berenice Diaz.
I'm at Ella L Tutor. We will see you next week.
Bye.